Who Am I? By Randy Maupin. My full name is Randy Catherine Maupin. My parents thought they were having a boy, and I was supposed to be the second, named after my dad. When they found out otherwise, the name just stuck. I just turned 19 on December 9th. I graduated from A.C. Jones High School, and I attended Texas State my fall semester. I recently moved back here, but it's all worked out for the better. I'm a natural blonde, and I have green eyes, but I dye my hair way too much. Other than having just really bad hair days, I have nothing to complain about, and I love my life. My family really is my biggest fans. I have one brother and one sister. My brother's name is Ryan. He's in the bottom left, and my sister is also in the bottom left. My parents' names are Julie and Randy Maupin. I love my parents so much. They're always there for me, and they never let me down. My brother lives in Missouri and has 2 kids, and my sister lives in Houston and just got married. We don't get together very often, but when we do, we always have a good time. They're the most supportive and loving family I've ever known, and I'm so blessed to have them. I've learned the hard way that good friends are not easy to come by, especially as you get older. Thankfully, this last semester I attended Texas State. I met 2 of the greatest people I have ever met in my entire life. These 2 people I know I can count on whenever I need them and for whatever the circumstance. Hannah Hill was my roommate. She was a random, so we didn't know each other before we moved in. Everyone told me horror stories about first roommates being people they didn't know. But Hannah worked out for the best. She's caring and kind and would do anything for me if I ever needed her to. Bridget is the most kind-hearted person I've ever met in my entire life. She would give anyone the shirt off her back just because. Bridget met us in our math class, and we've been inseparable ever since. Daisy, in the third picture, I met during soccer practice. We had always known each other but never hung out. The first night, I invited myself over to her house for dinner, and ever since then, we've been best friends. Leslie, in the far right picture, we met during stock show. I love this girl to death. She is the nicest person I have ever met, and she would do anything for me also. Choosing one favorite band was almost impossible, and choosing one favorite song I could never do. So instead, I just chose my 4 favorite bands. Blink-182 has been my favorite since about the 6th grade. Pierce the Veil, Taking Back Sunday, and Brand New also made the top 4. I love music. It's my way of coping with things and an escape from the real world. High school held some of the greatest memories of my entire life. Whether it had been from playing sports to participating in club activities to going out of my comfort zone and showing in the 2013 B County Livestock Show or even volunteering. It was never a dull moment. I had unfortunately torn my ACL my summer going into senior year. That meant I could not make it back to play basketball. I had to find some other way to focus my time. So, I decided to buy a goat and start practicing, and I was going to show in the 2013 B County Livestock Show. I had never done anything like this. I had only hunted before, but I'd never worked with animals. It was a challenge, but I stuck through it, and I ended up winning Reserve Grand Champion. Soccer was my all-time favorite sport, though. A group of us girls had been playing together since we were almost 8 years old. We had grown so close over the years, and finally, when we got to high school, it was where it really counted. We all started on varsity as freshmen. I started my first game as a freshman playing goalie. I had never moved from my goalie box. It was a position that I was proud of, and I never wanted to give it up. I worked very hard all 4 years, and finally, my senior year, I had won second team all region goalie. I had been recognized by people over the state. I was so proud of myself and my team. I would never trade a minute of the time I spent with these girls. After spending months on end with each other every day, having team bonding at least twice a week, and practicing till our feet were sore, it was all well worth it, and the memories we made will never be forgotten. A few of my favorite things include the color coral, going hunting, laying in my hammock, going to concerts, Christmas time, my new dog Ollie, who just turned 12 weeks old, and my Jeep. My parents surprised me with my Jeep for my 18th birthday. I drove a 1984 pickup truck before that with no AC and no radio. So it's nice to have both those things now. I'm very grateful. Every summer, a group of my friends and I try to get together and go to Warped Tour in San Antonio. It's where a ton of bands come together and all play at the American Bake Center. I've been going hunting with my dad ever since I could remember. Now, we don't go as much, but every year after Christmas, a group of me and my friends from Alabama get together and go to our hunting lease in Laredo. This year, we set a new record with 27 people in one house. I bought my hammock last semester. I hung it up underneath my bed. It's awesome to just sit there and lay down whenever you have time. Watch TV. Now that I moved back, it's hanging outside. It's been too cold to lay around, but I cannot wait for summertime to lay there and tan. When I was 15 years old, I made my first bucket list. The list now has over 100 items on there. A few of them include to skydive, ride the biggest roller coaster in the world, and visit the Eiffel Tower. I've always had a fascination with the Eiffel Tower. I think it's beautiful. And skydiving has always been a dream of mine. I love adrenaline rushes. The hard part is just finding someone to go with you. And ride the biggest roller coaster, I feel like that would be the biggest adrenaline rush in the world. Now that I'm sure you know enough about me, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Your work is to discover your world, and then, with all your heart, give yourself to it. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.